One thing that we're all probably concerned about during this time is well-being. How do you think that the shift in sort of workplace norms has affected people's well-being? And by that, I mean things like our work-life balance, for example.
So again, wellbeing, I think, is very high on the agenda of many good companies, and certainly companies who want to embed excellence. And that's physical well-being, and of course, very importantly now, there's so much more recognition about mental well-being. I know that today there are many people who are struggling, whether they're working or not working, with their mental well-being and their own personal resilience through this lockdown. I actually think people are going to come out of this much, much stronger. People will so appreciate when we can get together, and that ability to have that collaboration and that social interaction, which is so important. I think as human beings, we love being with people, we love that interaction, and people are missing it. Technology is great, but it can't replace it. So I think the longer this lockdown goes on, I think the more stressed people become. I think the more challenging well-being is going to become, and our mental well-being is going to become, as we're working from home, as we're balancing children and work, or we're actually working from home on our own. So I would say at this moment, well-being is top of the agenda for many businesses. And I know that companies are trying to do so many things in terms of using the great technology to have great social interactions with people, but it doesn't replace that interaction that you get when you're actually sitting with someone and you can read their body language and you can actually be with them on a face-to-face. As this pandemic unlocks, I think companies are going to have to be very thoughtful about their wellbeing policies, about how they support people coming back to work, how they support people's mental health. I would hope that companies would be training at the moment a lot more mental health first aiders. Certainly with businesses I was running, it was really important, and all of our senior execs went through a mental first aid training course, and we put that down through people, through the business, so that people had the opportunity to start to recognise people who had mental health issues and signpost them to where they could actually go and get help. I think a lot more of that's going to be required as we come out of this pandemic and people's lives start to get back to the new normal. But of course, as we all know, the new normal is probably going to be quite different from the old normal. So there's going to be still a lot of ongoing change. And change in itself is interesting. People are always very nervous about change. This change has been forced on everybody, and managing change is quite difficult, and it can make people feel very uncertain and have a lot of unease. So all this has got to be taken into account by employers, and there's got to be, I think, a lot of good work, good policies, good quality conversations with managers about individuals' mental health, how they're feeling, and help people manage that change.